This is News Today with WDW News Today. I'm Tom Corliss of WDWNT.com. Please like this video, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell to make sure you never miss the latest from the Disney theme parks all around the world. Now, before we get to the news, I got to bring up today's sponsor, which is WaitSigns.com. Are you constantly looking for ways to bring the magic of the parks back into your home long after your vacation's over? Well, maybe you check ride wait times from home on the app, or do you watch resort TV, or listen to park music on repeat like I do? Well, WaitSigns.com just released their brand new wait time display. I'm going to slide it in here. Hopefully I don't unplug it. There we go. Which recreates the nostalgia of the Disney Resort Hotel experience in your own home. When you turn on the device, you're greeted by a personalized welcome message, just as if you were checking in. And you can then tap over to your very own resort channel, which displays actual park hours and special event times. I have that up right now. That's what you're looking at. And just like their fully working wait time signs that we showed you last year, and we'll show those again soon, these wait time displays show the actual live wait times for your favorite attractions from either the Disneyland or Walt Disney World resorts. You can even park hop on the monorail to see more wait times. Let's do it. I'm going to hit parks here. We're taking the monorail. Beep, boop. I did it. We're at the Magic Kingdom. And we can look at those wait times like Astro Orbiter. So it's not bad. I mean, it's been busy this week. That's not bad, 20 minutes. There's also a fully customized vacation countdown fireworks show to get you excited for your next trip. I'm actually going to Disneyland Friday. This isn't up to date. But perhaps the coolest feature is the virtual terrace that displays an actual live stream of the Orlando skyline during the Magic Kingdom and Epcot fireworks. You see them in real time. It's like having your own personal window looking out into the parks and without sitting in the traffic of I-4 like many of us do. These are a great gift for the Disney Parks fan that already owns everything they sell in the parks. So head on over to WaitSigns.com. Use the code NEWS15 for 15% off your order today on this device and others. Yeah, I'm going sooner than that. It's not up to date. But obviously you put it in and it knows. I haven't updated this, but yeah. Let's go back to resort. I'll set it to Disneyland since that's where I'm going. I need to know the wait times this weekend for Disneyland. Well, park hours will help first. What those. All right. Here now the news for October 23rd, 2024. The Walt Disney Company has named James Gorman, leader of the committee to identify CEO Bob Iger's successor, as chairman of the board effective January 2nd, 2025. According to a report from Variety, Gorman will succeed Mark G. Parker, who is leaving the Disney board on the 2nd following 9 years of service. Gorman is currently the chair of the succession committee tasked with finding Disney's next CEO, replacing Bob Iger, whose contract will end in December of 2026. A new CEO is expected to be announced in early 2026. We'll talk about that more in a second. He's also the executive chairman, is Gorman, of Morgan Stanley, but will step down from that role as previously announced on December 31st. Other members of the Succession Planning Committee include directors Mary Barra and Calvin McDonald and Parker until his departure in 2025. The committee and the board continue to review internal candidates and external candidates, according to Disney, and in a press release shared by the Walt Disney Company, Disney has confirmed its plans to announce the current CEO Bob Iger's successor in early 2026. So there is no turning back now. I know it's inevitable in the comment section. People that won't even watch the episode will comment and say, oh, he'll just extend again. I don't think that's possible at this point. I think he's extended enough. I think the extension to this point was necessary. There was a lot of instability from the previous regime. And, you know, I know a lot of people are still angry at this company, and I get it. There is a lot to be angry about. Totally understand that. But things are definitely heading in the right direction. We have had over the summer, two blockbuster hits in Inside Out 2 and Deadpool and Wolverine. The parks, we've had the rollback of some things like paid parking at the resort hotels, things of that sort. We've seen a D23 in which more attractions were announced than at any D23 event in history. So to me, things seem to be heading in the right direction, not necessarily everywhere in the company, but in many places they seem to be. Certainly there is a broader conversation to be had that we don't have the time to have right here, right now on this show, but nonetheless, I'm pretty confident we're gonna see that announcement sometime early next year of who the CEO will be. The question is, who will the CEO be? Let us know in the comments who you think might be chosen. Walt Disney World has released a new block of prices for November and December of 2025, which includes an increase for one-day tickets to the Magic Kingdom on select dates. Walt Disney World ticket prices in November and December of next year show slight increases depending on the theme park, with Magic Kingdom seeing the highest increase. The new price ranges for the one-day tickets are as follows: Magic Kingdom $144 to $199, Epcot $129 to $194, Hollywood Studios $139 to $194, and Animal Kingdom $119 to $174. Pricing for 2026 has not yet been released. Walt Disney World announced price increases between $30 and $100 for their annual passes. The Pixie Dust Pass will now be $469, up from $439. The Pirate Pass is $829, up from $799. The Sorcerer Pass jumps to $1,079 from $999. And the Incredi Pass is up to $1,549. That's a $100 increase over the previous $1,449. Walt Disney World has also increased their dining prices across the board. Increases include several buffets, family-style restaurants, character dining, and snacks property-wide. Individually priced menu items at many restaurants have also gone up, anywhere in price from 20 cents to $5. Here's a breakdown of some of those major price increases. The Mickey Pretzel is up to $8.50 from $8.25. Coke bottles are now up to $5.50 from $5.25. Dasani is now $4, previously $3.75. Fountain drinks are $4.79, used to be $4.49. Smart water up 25 cents to $6. Hot cocoa, Twinings tea, and Joffrey's regular and decaf coffee up to $4.29 from $3.79. Popcorn is 50 cents more at $6. A souvenir popcorn bucket up $1.25 to $14.25. Hot dogs are $11. They used to be $10.25. A croissant, $4.29, up from $3.99. The chocolate croissant up to $4.79 from $4.49. The Mickey cinnamon roll, $7.49. That's a $1 increase. And school bread, this is important to many of you, $4.99 up from $4.79. Meanwhile, some restaurants to talk about. Royal Table, Cinderella's Royal Table, the Magic Kingdom. Breakfast adult ages 10 and up is $75 now. That's a $6 increase. Children ages 3 to 9 is $45. That's a $3 increase. And at dinner, adults are up $4 to $88. Children up $3 to $52. At the Crystal Palace, a breakfast for adults is now $52 from $48. Child $33 from $30. Lunch and dinner, adult $62. Used to be $61. It's just $1. Children up $2 though to $42. At Hollywood Studios, the Roundup Rodeo Barbecue is now $49 from $45 for adults, and child $27 from $25. At Epcot, the Akershus Royal Banquet Hall, breakfast for adults $59 from $55, child $38 from $35. Lunch and dinner, adult $69 up from $67, and child $46 up from $43. At Animal Kingdom, the Tusker House Restaurant breakfast for adults $49 up $2. Children $33, that's up $3. Lunch and dinner for adults up $2 to $64. Children up $2 to $42. At the resort hotel, Chef Mickey's is up again, $58 for adults now, up from $54. Children $37 from $34 for breakfast. Dinner $69 up from $66, and children $44 up from $41. Boma at Animal Kingdom Lodge, $39 from $37 for adult breakfast. Child $23 from $22. Adult dinner $58 from $56, and child $34 from $33. Worth talking about here. Every October we see these increases, some more egregious than others, and we see them across the board. This is something they all do. Obviously, as a consumer, it's not something we like, but it happens at Universal, it happens at SeaWorld, it happens at the baseball stadium, it happens everywhere. I mean, I don't think, whatever product it is you buy, price increases are inevitable until finally, you know, something happens to where they have to offer you a discount. That's just the way these things work. I know people get real up in arms about this, and I get it. But the comments every year always are, we've been priced out. And I'm going to say the same thing I've said on shows. If you want to fact check this, you certainly can. I have said this on shows before we were on the media list. I will say it now. My opinion has not changed. This is not a shill comment. But if a few dollars prices you out, then maybe you shouldn't have been going to begin with. That's just my thought. Obviously, all of those meals, you don't have to eat there, right? I will tell you, I don't go eat at those restaurants on a regular basis. If it's a once-in-a-lifetime trip, no one's going to bat their eyes at a few dollars more at Royal Table or Chef Mickey's. Those are rite-of-passage restaurants. You and I have been there before, right? I'm sure you and I are not running out to book Chef Mickey's and the Royal Table, but the people that are don't even know the price was increased. And so the thing we recognize is annual passes. And look, $100 more a year, if that continues to happen over several years, does get to a point where it's not like, oh, maybe you shouldn't have been planning your trip to begin with. $100 is a sizable amount of money. There is no argument there, right? And I understand what people are going to say for a family of four at the restaurant, then it does add up. It does. But also, to have a Walt Disney World vacation, you don't have to eat at the Royal Table. You don't have to eat at Chef Mickey's. Those are decisions you can make. Table service meals have always been a decision. I mean, obviously, counter service went up. I will say this is one of the lowest price increases we've ever seen on the snacks. Usually, I remember years where the pretzels went up a full $1 or more. So not as egregious as years past, which is nice to see. And even those dining prices are not as bad as previous years. But the annual passes do seem to be on a similar trajectory that they have been, and I do think those are getting to a point where they become not affordable. But on the flip side is if the regular public continues to pay higher and higher prices for day tickets, that's more and more value for the annual pass. And so that's, what you have to do. Look, at the resorts that I do not frequent regularly, I have to make a decision, right? The Disneyland Magic Key I have to make a mathematical decision as to if I'm going to see my value or not. So I have to figure out how many days do I think I'm going to go this year? Is it worth renewing? And I will tell you, actually last year, I think I ended up not reaching my value on the ticket. But Magic Keys are so hard to get, and it's part of my job that I renew. Obviously, you don't have that requirement. It's not part of your job, and so you don't have to renew anything. And you can make that decision to not get it, right? So that's a decision you have to financially make if that $100 does prohibit you or not. But I will tell you again now, with Royal Table and Chef Mickey's, there's no one out there that's booking that once-in-a-lifetime first trip to Disney World that's going to go, well, that $20 extra for the four of us is going to stop us from doing this thing that people told us we have to do at Disney World. So that being said, Chef Mickey's is gross. The food is not good, so there's that too. So make your decisions wisely. Valet parking prices have increased across Walt Disney World as well. Valet parking is available at Disney Deluxe Resorts, Disney Deluxe Villa Resorts, and Coronado Springs. It was previously $39 a night. It's increased to $42 plus tax. This is the second increase this year for the service, increased from $33 to $39 back in February. Complimentary self-parking is still available, including overnight parking for guests staying at the hotel, so plenty of free parking, still a thing. Meanwhile, at the Walt Disney World Dolphin and Swan hotels and the Swan Reserve, self-parking is $36 per night and valet parking is $44 per night. This program is brought to you by our official travel agent sponsor, Be Our Guest Vacations. Your dream vacation begins with Be Our Guest and their concierge team of expert vacation planners. Head on over to beourguestvacations.com/WDWNT, and their team will design your next magical vacation, from the Walt Disney World and Disneyland Resorts to the Disney Cruise Line to Adventures by Disney and more. They're also able to book unforgettable VIP tours where you and your group can experience the ultimate park day. And the best part is their concierge services are 100%. Everyone at home yelled free. You couldn't hear it, but I felt like I could hear it. Anyway, book today. It's nice to have a free service in an age where you're going to get charged more for tickets and food. Make someone else book all of that for you. Make it Be Our Guest. Walt Disney World is reportedly now allowing international guests to pre-book Lightning Lane selections. According to Scott Gustin, several guests outside the U.S. have been able to pre-book their Lightning Lane access this week before arriving in the country. Walt Disney World launched advanced Lightning Lane purchases this summer, but only to guests in the U.S. and Canada. International guests would not be able to make selections until they're in the continental United States. It seems this policy has quietly changed. There appears to be no more reference to the restriction on the Walt Disney World website as well. Eligible resort guests can purchase and book Lightning Lane options 7 days before their stay. All other ticket holders can book 3 days in advance. Starting on Tuesday, Walt Disney World introduced MagicBand Plus interactivity to stage shows across the resort. Guests will experience the new Theater Show Magic feature for the first time in forever, a Frozen sing-along celebration, Beauty and the Beast live on stage, the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular, Finding Nemo, The Big Blue and Beyond, Turtle Talk with Crush, and Festival of the Lion King. Guests with the wearable will experience the band vibrating and lighting up during key show moments. Of course, Festival of the Lion King at Animal Kingdom was the first show to introduce wearable interactivity for a limited time this summer to celebrate the film's 30th anniversary. But MagicBand Plus already interacts with Walt Disney World nighttime spectaculars, and it could also be used to trigger effects at the Disney Fab 50 character collection sculptures and to play the Batuu Bounty Hunters game in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And like any MagicBand, MagicBand Plus will open your hotel room door, charge purchases to a hotel folio, link photos, and act as a theme park ticket. Again, I don't get up in arms about ticket prices because I feel it's an inevitable thing anywhere in life. But the thing I do get up in arms with is the MagicBand Plus. I hate the MagicBand Plus. I never wear it. I used to wear MagicBands every day. I used to wear them on this show. You guys probably remember before MagicBand Plus, I'd always have a MagicBand on this wrist. Not anymore, because I hate having to remember to charge it. It's another thing to plug in. It doesn't really do much, and what it does do is, I think the light up features are still inferior to the old glow with the show stuff from 2012, I think that was. But again, another sign of like that, we don't necessarily indicate what the consumer thinks. I was at Epcot the other night, and we were walking around while Luminous was going on, and I saw every wrist in that crowd lighten up. So everybody's got one. So clearly my feelings do not resonate with the world. But I'm sure it resonates with some of you watching, but maybe you guys like the MagicBand. Let me know in the comments. Disney's Hollywood Studios is currently testing a return to pre-COVID early entry procedures. Early entry is a perk offered to guests at most Walt Disney World Resort hotels. It allows guests access to the park half an hour before it officially opens. Since the days of COVID precautions, non-resort guests were held at the tap styles until the park opened, but now all guests are permitted entry into the park, and access to most lands and attractions is monitored and restricted to hotel guests. A similar procedure is in place at the Magic Kingdom, allowing guests into the Main Street area of the park. Cast members were stationed outside of Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway, checking credentials to confirm if the guests were eligible for the early entry. They were also in front of Toy Story Land, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and other areas in order to maintain the restriction. Guests without early entry were allowed to join a queue for attractions or restricted lands, which began admittance at the official opening time. So that means they were allowed to get essentially to the standby queue where they waited until, opening time hits, and then they can go. But you still have your 30-minute benefit. The only benefit for them is they're physically in the park. They're a little closer to the action. And the benefit for Disney is, obviously, for 30 minutes, you let those turnstiles, or tap styles, we'll call them, continue to back up. That line gets longer. And if you're not a resort guest with early entry, then you're going to wait longer out there. So I think it's better to just start letting people in early. I know people are split on this. I saw some people feel the other way. They like the way the other parks handle it better. I don't know. Makes sense to me. Disney legend and Imagineer Joe Rohde took to Instagram to share a piece of his artwork and give his thoughts regarding the upcoming permanent closure of DinoLand USA at Animal Kingdom. Quote, I was just recently wandering around inside a Restaurantosaurus in DinoLand USA at Disney's Animal Kingdom. First of all, as much as I love dinosaurs, let me say that I am excited about the changes to come. But I did want to get some archival photographs of the design because it will be useful in teaching about design. This piece by me, which is a pretty big painting, was supposed to be done in a style suggesting it was pretty old, like from before World War II. It is meant to be evocative of the dinosaur paintings of the great paleo illustrator Charles Knight. I am, however, compulsively more colorful as a painter. It's probably one of the last things I ever got to paint as a real painter before the directorial responsibilities of leading teams made it impossible for me to devote this much time to a single work of art. For that reason, it is close to my heart. It's not particularly scientifically accurate, but that was meant to be part of its nostalgic flavor. I do know that the Styracosaurus and Tyrannosaurus Rex did not live at the same time. Maybe it's a Gorgosaurus. Rohde was the overall creative executive and supervising designer for Animal Kingdom, which opened in 1998. DinoLand was one of the original opening lands, along with the Oasis, Safari Village, Camp Mini Mickey, Africa, and Conservation Station. Who else is old like me and remembers when it was called Safari Village? But Disney originally announced that construction on Pueblo Esperanza would begin in the fall. They kind of have started. They've cleaned it, Marley the crocodile is gone, and they've started in earnest, but we know that the first phase of closures for DinoLand will be happening on January 12th. However, changes, again, have already begun, and dinosaurs, some dinosaur animatronics are already gone from Dinosaur. I talked about Marley. Things are already happening. I love Joe Rohde's Instagram because Joe is a genius and comes from a time in Imagineering that is so important. And again, one of the signs that makes me feel like the Walt Disney Company realizes where their weaknesses developed throughout the COVID era and the Chapek era is bringing Joe Rohde back as a consultant. I think it's great that Joe is helping to teach the next generation of Imagineers, and I think that's wonderful that he's like, well, this is a lesson. We should have this photographed. Show people, and it's well documented that was a project that did not have a great budget. Animal Kingdom had a lot of budget cuts leading into it, and DinoLand was one of the lands that suffered the greatest, although it's good that that got off the ground, unlike Beastly Kingdom, which didn't. So yeah, I mean, a lot of that was Joe talked about it, he trying to save money. The reason he painted that was they had to get the budget down, and it was cheaper for him to paint something than to go buy it. So it's really cool. There's a lot of great stuff in that. Please take some time. If you're going to be visiting between now and January, get into restaurant, although that Restaurantosaurus isn't closing by then. But whenever you're visiting, if Restaurantosaurus is still open, go in there, take a look at that propping. Like, again, not the peak of Imagineering, but a great lesson in what can be done with little when you have very talented and creative people, and that sometimes budget constraints, are a box within you work, but you could think outside of it. It's a good lesson. The Cake Bake Shop by Gwendolyn Rogers at Disney's Boardwalk has lowered the prices of most of its items following the viral outcry over the menu when it was released online by us. Though not open to the public yet, the Cake Bake Shop can be found on Disney's Boardwalk, and when construction walls came down in early October, the initial menu and prices were revealed, leaving many Disney fans and locals shocked at the price points. Some examples: the $23 egg sandwich at breakfast, cake slices at $26 each, and a $32 burger with pommes frites. Even a slice of toast was priced at $4. As of October 22nd, the bakery and restaurant menus posted outside have been changed for the new prices featuring lower prices for the most part. Some prices were only lowered by a cent, but others were lowered by several dollars, such as the pesto burrata, which is now listed at $28.99. A handful of menu items actually increased in price. At the bakery, the Pixie Fetti birthday cake, pumpkin spice cinnamon roll cake, and pumpkin chocolate cake each went from $22 to $22.99. That egg sandwich did go down to $19.99, so that was a several dollar decrease. I believe the burger went down to $26, which doesn't make it the highest priced burger at Walt Disney World. So there are several things they aimed at, which I think make this more reasonable and more in line. The cake slices are expensive. Here's my verdict on the cake. We will go and try the cake. And if the cake is not life-changing, I'm going to tell you it's not worth $23 to $26. And if the cake is amazing and I feel like a step above anything else at Disney World, then we're going to tell you, if you feel okay spending $26 for cake, then go for it. My viewpoint on food pricing is you can charge almost anything as long as it is spectacular. That's generally my price. That's generally my thought. And I think people feel okay on vacation, whether they're in New York City or Disney World or wherever, paying extreme, crazy food prices, at least when it's good. The worst is when you somehow end up at the Times Square Applebee's and pay $30 for chicken tenders. That's when life has gone wrong. But kudos to them. The word on the street, what we were told, was Disney told them they had to lower their prices. And pat on the shoulder to Disney for making them do that. Because same as with the Raglan Road situation where the person passed away from ingesting something they were allergic to, even though that's a third-party restaurant, that's on Disney property, and it reflects on Disney because unlike you and me, the rest of the world does not understand that there are third-party operating companies at Walt Disney World. People think everything's just Disney. So obviously it reflected on Disney, and Disney was like, yeah, maybe guys dial the egg sandwich price back a little. Is $20 still crazy for an egg salad or an egg sandwich? Yeah, sure is. I can go down to the 7-Eleven here and get one for $5. They have the Japanese style ones. I won't tell you what I paid for them in Japan. It was 1/5 of that. But nonetheless, I digress. There is no set opening date for the Cake Bake Shop at this time, though the restaurant continues to host private preview events for invited guests only. The restaurant, of course, is owned and operated, like we said, by a third-party company, not by Disney. Disney Vacation Club has filed a construction permit for Disney's Animal Kingdom Villa's Kidani Village, indicating a major refurbishment of the villas starting soon. According to DVC News, DVC filed notices of commencement for general construction in the Kidani Village area earlier this month. DVC previously announced that the Animal Kingdom villas were among the guest room accommodations that would soon be refurbished. The guest rooms got a soft good refresh in 2016, but this will be the hard goods full room redo, if you will. The permit expires in December of 2025. We don't know when work will actually begin or end, but it is coming. The bargaining team for the newly unionized Disneyland Resort Perfomers is sitting down with their employers for the first time today. 1,700 Disneyland Resort parade and character performers voted to unionize earlier this year. The group, dubbed Magic United, began the unionization process with the Actors Equity Association in February. They began union elections in May, and Magic United stated on Instagram Wednesday, "Our bargaining team heads to the table for the first time today. Share your support as they meet our employers to begin negotiations for our first union contract." In an April letter sent to Disneyland Resort's labor relation, the cast members said, "Our hope is to keep moving forward in collaboration. We believe improving our collective working conditions will have a direct impact on not only cast members' lives, but the caliber of entertainment we offer at Disneyland Resort." I will stop and talk about this for a second. Speaking of the caliber of entertainment at Disneyland Resort, things are in ruin there. The amount of entertainment has greatly decreased. As we know what happened with Viva Navidad, where it's only on weekends, where there were talk about even cutting it at one point. We know Fantasmic will not be performing during the week, even throughout the holiday season, which it has previously throughout history. Magic Happens ended its run early, and all they've run is a Halloween cavalcade in its place until Christmas Fantasy Parade will roll out in mid-November. There is no return date set for Magic Happens. The word on the street is that Paint the Night will likely return, and when it does, that'll be the only parade because Disneyland doesn't want to pay to staff 2 parades at once, which is insane because I remember not many years ago a Disneyland Resort that had a daytime parade and a nighttime parade. It's been a sad turn at Disneyland. I think of all 6 Disney resorts around the world, no resort got hit as hard as Disneyland did, and since then we have seen the impact of that. We've seen it on maintenance, we've seen it on cleanliness, we've seen it in the ability to staff positions, and we've most of all seen it in the entertainment department. Someone's got to be made aware of this, and a turnaround has to happen. This is not acceptable. Again, I don't have a problem with prices being raised yearly, as so long as a quality is kept. And at Walt Disney World, I see things happening. We've talked about the entertainment increases that have rolled out either already or coming this holiday season. That makes me more okay with this. At Disneyland Resort, continuing to jack prices while actively getting rid of things for people to see and do is not acceptable. So hopefully something is going to happen soon. And I know the union negotiations haven't helped. I assume Disneyland Resort anticipating higher pay for entertainment cast is the reason they want to cut more entertainment, but that's not the answer. Guests do come for entertainment. They do not only come for rides, and someone's got to wake up and understand those. Disneyland Resort has announced that Magic Key passes will go back on sale next month, following the program's most recent pause earlier this summer. According to the Disneyland Resort website, Magic Key passes will go back on sale on November 6th. All 4 pass types will be available while supplies last. The online queue to purchase Magic Keys will open no earlier than 8:45 a.m. Pacific time, and sales will begin no earlier than 9 a.m. Pacific. Magic Key prices increased between 6% and 20% this year. That was announced earlier this month. Candle makers Havilah and Company have opened a kiosk at the Downtown Disney District in Disneyland Resort. The kiosk is located between the former Tortilla Joe's building and the monorail station on the Disneyland Drive Bridge. It's open from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily. Havilah and Company offers non-toxic candles made of coconut wax and essential oils. 50% of their profits are donated to charity, and the candles are in glass jars and come boxed. Havilah and Company is the latest business to move into the downtown Disney district. Of course, Din Tai Fung, my favorite restaurant, I think, at any Disney resort in the world right now. Not long after Paseo, Centrico, and Tiendita, Porto's Bakery is opening next year, of course. The businesses are all joining while downtown Disney district is in the midst of its reimagining that includes the new security plaza, the stage, a park area, aesthetic updates, and a lot of new shopping and dining still on the way. For the absolute latest in all these stories and those that didn't make it into today's show, be sure to check WDWNT.com and follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. You can support the entire team behind this show and others by joining the WDWNT Interglobe Society at patreon.com/WDWNT. Get access to exclusive content, discounted show and event tickets, and more, including tickets to this show, which you can get at events.wdwnt.com. You do get a discount if you are a WIGS member. And a special shout out to all of our WIGS members watching who make this show happen every week. They also get a discount on their Santa Gertie pre-orders. Order yours now at shop.wdwnt.com or carouselofproducts.com. We're, again, about 700 sold, 300 to go. For the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is Tom Corliss saying, enjoy the rest of your today and have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.